And then, of course, there was Metroid Dread, which I spontaneously decided to play, and just fucking spent my whole Sunday just going at it.
I was really happy for you because I saw you played it a ton, so I assume you like it. But at the same time, like, I'm legitimately disappointed because when I was streaming it the other day and saw that you had not streamed it already, I was super excited to come onto this podcast and be like, oh man, I can't believe that I'm the bigger Metroid fan on this podcast.
Oh.
And be a smug little shit about it. And then
well, I'm sorry that I took that away from you.
You took it away from me, so that's not cool.
Well,
shame on you. But
shame on me.
Yo, that game's really good.
It's fucking great.
It's highly excellent.
I really, really am happy that they built off of what they did with Samus Returns, which I was saying was really good. And it's already better for sure, you know, and that feels really exciting to me because it's like, yay, there's a modern Metroid game. It takes the great shit we got with Samus Returns, and now it's on Switch, and here we can make these games again. You know, like, we don't have to sit and wait forever because you've got a existing thing here. It really also just does a lot of things that we're gonna have to see where it lands at the end of the day, but like right now it's on a track to fucking do amazingly well compared to, you know, things in my brain like Fusion, Super Metroid, Zero Mission.
Sales-wise?
No, in terms of just how fucking good it is, you know?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw a lot of people that would have a much better experience than I have because I have honestly never played and finished a 2D Metroid game, saying that this is their favorite so far.
It's really, really good so far, and depending on how it closes out, I could see myself saying that, just based on what we've gotten. I mean, for sure, I'll say this: like, one, it's just starts out, you know, we pick back up, and we're just giving you straight story, and it's doing something that previous games never really decided to commit to, which is actually getting into the Chozo for reals, you know, in terms of backstory.
It's funny because Samus lands on the planet that has maybe a bad mutant on it, like always, and as somebody who has only played the Prime games and knows about, you know, tertiary stuff here or there, I think the first thing's out is that a fucking Chozo?
So you get to see.
I thought they were dead.
We've spent this whole series with, like, you know, the lost lore of this, like, missing, nearly extinct, who knows, you know, tribe that raised her. And you're like, yeah, well, you know, I guess we'll see a bunch of statues and maybe catch some lore. And then it's like, nah, we're in it. We're doing it. I'm like, oh, okay.
Here's what are people calling it? Birdgill?
Burgill.
Burgill
is what I was hearing, yes. Yeah.
Kicks the shit out of her.
So, start the game, and you immediately get what I'm saying is the best reason of any Metroid game for Samus to lose her powers.
Oh, just beats it out of her.
Yeah.
You didn't walk into an energy trap and they all fell out, and you didn't get hit by Dark Samus's grapple beam and she just stole your whole suit.
You got your shit wrecked.
Fucking ass beating.
Yeah. So that's cool. The flow is great. It's you know, a really It's interesting to see how, like, you know, even though, like, Metroid Returns took liberties versus, like, the original game that it came from on the Game Boy, like, in here they've designed a new map entirely, and it's interesting how it lets you explore, but it gates you in a way that is pretty aggressive by some other games comparisons, but you do kind of like have these moments of like teleporting back to a previous area, and you're like, oh, am I in the full area? And it's like, no, it's just a section of it, but it leads you down to this pathway, and then you kind of explore your way back, and it felt good. It felt good. I didn't mind it at all. I like the parry system is, they built on top of it and made it a much more crucial and interesting thing here that, legitimately is like, it's a huge part of the gameplay. It's exciting how they've implemented it. The dread stuff where you're being stalked by the Emmys is really cool.
Hey, congrats on parrying the first Emmy.
Yeah. I didn't realize what was happening, but the first one, I parried it like fast enough that the tutorial didn't pop up, so I didn't know there was a tutorial. And then right after that is the real encounter, and then on the real encounter, I parried it the first time too as well, like, and just went about it. And I'm like, and then I only found out after the fact that it was like, oh, that's a just frame thing apparently.
Those parries are within 2 or 3 frames tops. They're very difficult.
Had no idea.
Guess you play a lot of Twitch fighting games, maybe.
So what's cool is then the others that you fight have their own different timings. So they're not all universal.
Every single different animation, yeah.
So you can't just, be like, oh, okay, I've gotten it down and it's not a threat anymore. And the game tells you to embrace helplessness because, like, let's face it, like, if you're, I don't know, having a really hard time with this game and you've got to review it for a website, you might not like the short parry window that you get.
Most people are not going to be able to hit those.
What's really cool is that, like, it's one of those, oh God, what am I thinking of? There's a game where I'm thinking of something where, like, you're about to go down, and then you can, sometimes there's a rare chance of you getting back up. But it's like one of those things where you're like, oh shit, it's a pop-off. I didn't expect it to land, So... yeah, I can't remember the exact dialogue, but I'm picturing some game where there's a, but there's a thing like that. But anyway,
so you mentioned it being like not, I don't know what the specific phrase you used, but not like kind of gated off where it like funnels you towards certain areas depending on your upgrade path. I do know that there is old-fashioned sequence breaking remaining in the game because in the Kraid boss fight, I found a part of the boss fight that I didn't have the item for.
Okay.
Did you notice that there's a bomb, like a morph ball bomb sequence in the Kraid boss fight?
I didn't.
So if you rocket the bottom left square of the arena, it's actually like a morph ball like bomb location, and that lets you skip the boss fight.
Wow, okay.
But I don't know how to get the bomb before getting to Kraid.
So what I do like is Metroid, because of, the sequence breaking of the earliest games, it has now become part of the identity of the franchise.
Yeah.
And now they're building them with that kind of stuff in mind. And you're seeing...
Gotta Go Fast has been absolutely a fucking...
intentional
hallmark of that series.
Yeah, intentional sequence breaking routes is pretty fun to see implemented, So something really cool too that's great is like I ended up missing some of them, but I much like Metroid Returns, there's moments where in these boss fights where if you hit that parry button, you're getting a nice little sequence,
Oh, you missed it? Oh, it was so cool. Oh, man.
Because you gotta land that deflect right as the particular attack. There's usually like one attack that you're looking for to get it. Most bosses have. So yeah, that's really great. There's when it comes to like just like Samus and then the character and everything, it's like she's narrating it, she's playing it straight. That's all dope. Adam is there. Adam is voiced as a robot voice, so they kind of are like, it's not the voice of Adam. It's
Can you explain that to me a little bit?
Sure.
Why so Adam's dead?
Yes,
but he's a robot.
There's an AI that Samus relies on to guide her and act as her CEO, and it uses Adam's, like, it uses her memories of Adam as its personality because he's a figure of authority.
Oh, okay.
So Fusion establishes this AI, and it's what talks to her, and it explains.
So that's why he calls her lady in the intro.
Any objections,
well,
lady.
the robot does.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's, yeah, exactly. So that they basically just continued the Fusion storyline with her having that. And when she's on the elevators, she's talking about it, and you go into the room, the save rooms, and then he kind of like talks to you and updates you and shit. In this case, you're getting a voice to that, and it's much more robotic. So it's like, okay, that's cool. It's still it's doing its own thing, and the attitude they're giving Samus, at least in terms of what minimal moments there are, is so fucking sick at times. There's two moments in particular that are fucking great. The first
the
boss,
end of both boss fights.
the end of the first boss fight is like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a moment of just like the boss freaking the fuck out in the camera in the foreground, and then focus shift to the background, and Samus just standing casually looking at the boss writhing on the ground, and then casually just takes 2 steps to the left and starts charging the Buster, you know? And you're like, that's it. That little stand and walk is everything I fucking want.
It's the best.
It's such a clean moment, you know? Just the stare at the fucking thing, you know? And then the second one is later on in the game when she says something. You hear her speak up.
Oh, she does in fact speak.
And she says some shit in a way that makes you go, yeah, that's cool. I like that.
Does she call the Birdman a motherfucker?
Not quite.
Okay.
Not quite. But when she does speak, it's in a way, and it's doing a thing that is really like, hey, that's great, you know? So, yeah, I like what they've established with this character so far, and this is what we want. This is what we enjoy. The closest thing to a complaint that I have, and it's it like, I know that there's some people that don't like the elevator loading. I love the elevator loading because Metroid Prime
it's gonna be a loading screen no matter what.
Metroid Prime made me fall in love with elevator loading. It just, to me, I like that. I like we're going to the next area. You know, let's take a moment. I'm totally down. The closest thing to a complaint I have, and it's so minor, but it's just Metroid Returns, Samus Returns, you had to really accept and get used to the fact that this is now a 3D platform shooter. This is now a 3D like Metroid game. It is not as tightly gridded as previous other games were. It is going to require you to play with the analog stick. It's going to require you to aim in diagonal, awkward angles and directions and learn to shoot in a perfect 360. And I talked about this, I think, when I first played Samus Returns, but it's just a very different thing to add. You know, it's an element of a shadow complex or so that gets tossed into a game that used to be like, you shoot in the cardinal directions, you move in the cardinal directions, and you don't have to worry about anything in between, you know?
I didn't even notice that, but to be fair, my experience with the older ones is almost zero.
Yeah, you would only shoot up or diagonal or straight forward, you know? And like, that was kind of, and the game would be in these little gridded squares. Every room was a grid, everything, and it still is, you know? But fighting enemies, you're fighting them at angles that you otherwise never had to, you know, in a way. And it's not bad. Like, I've gotten used to it and I like it, and the parry makes it fun, but it is just like, okay, you have to accept a different thing happening with the series, and that's okay. That's how it gets brought into the future, because they're not just going to make Fusion, you know, again, and just make it like the same kind of sprite-based thing. Like, I realize the time for that, unfortunately, is behind us, and sprites are, you know, gone the way they're gone, and I get it. So with that comes the fact that we're not going to let you play with the D-pad because you need to angle the stick at little in-between areas, you know?
Yeah, like at 60 degrees instead of 45.
Sometimes you need to, exactly, sometimes you need to not be at 9 o'clock or at, 11 o'clock. You need to be at 10, you know? So that is just a new thing, and it's just a reminder because it still felt fine in Samus Returns, and it feels good here. But I do automatically move my finger towards the D-pad to play Metroid games, and in this case, it's like, nope, this is what it is. Get used to it.
It's the analog future forever.
They also had a very interesting way of distributing items in the beginning of the game here because
so that's what I've been sitting on this thought for a few minutes. Again, most of my experience with the Prime games, but I'm under the assumption this is the case. I could not believe how long it took me to get the morph ball.
Wild. They were wild about their decision there because they wanted you to know that you're supposed to get it and see all these places to use it. But instead, let's give you a bunch of other rad shit. Dear fucking God, when I got that shift. I'm like...
I just got that when I ended my stream. That was the last item that I picked up. And it was like, oh, okay.
I'm like, I didn't know it was my birthday. I didn't realize, but apparently Mercury Steam... realized it was my birthday because that's a fucking, feel-good button.
Step.
It's a flash step button, and it just feels good. And it encourages you to abuse it because it comes back quickly, and you can do
right
3 in a row.
I remember beating up one of the Emmys, and I'm like, oh, sick, I'm gonna get the morph ball. And it's like, no, turn invisible. What? When am I gonna get the ball? I'm looking at a fucking little tiny ball corridor on screen right now. Give me the ball.
And I know that I know people have made comparisons because they're like, yo, we got Parry, Royal Guard, we got Trickster on the dash. But to me, I look at that flash step, and I see bomb dashing from Smash Brothers, and I would not be surprised if that played some role in at least the idea or inspiration, because with Samus and Smash on a flat surface, you can use bombs to make her, while standing still, slide all the way across the surface of the stage, So, I don't know if that was the inspiration, but if it was, I would not be surprised. It's a fucking cool ass new ability they put in this game, and it feels great immediately. And I kind of, I'm like, yeah, we'll get to the morph ball eventually. I'm gonna just do this around the stage for a bit, so that feels great. And everything they're giving you, everything they're giving you is like, yeah, you'll get to the morph ball. Here, try this out. Try this new suit out. Do you like the white trim? You like the highlights? Check it out.
It's nice.
Looks good.
Once I got the various suit, I'm like, I kind of want to go back to the green and white.
I'm loving both of the suits we got in this right off the bat. The white looks clean, and I think that's also them realizing so many people fucking love the light suit from Prime 2.
Best, dude.
It's so clean and good. It's so awesome that everyone went like, yeah, more of that, please. But so you got that sort of inspiration. One thing I know is not here, and I wish there was some way. Well, there's a couple ways they could have done it, but one of the best parts about Prime is the scanning and the lore.
Oh, there's no way.
This game...
How would you even do that?
Don't scan. Just don't scan. Have it, when you first kill something, let it enter a codex. Because I would like the ability to go and just read a little bit more about the alien life and stuff, because that stuff's really fun. It's a nice little flavor that these games, you get to have it in Prime, and some of the scans are really interesting. mise en scène storytelling. You come across an abandoned base and everything went wrong, and you get to look at the logs and see what the space pirates were doing and how they fucked up. And in this case, I wouldn't want a stop and scan system because it's not 2D Metroid doesn't call for that, much less 2.5D Metroid. But a little bestiary or a monster's manual, for like whatever you encounter would be a nice, cool little thing to read about.
I guess it doesn't seem like, maybe it's because of the Prime series, but like I like, what is that? It's a bug.
Yeah. But
it's a planet bug on ZMR or whatever it is.
I mean, think about.
I shot it. It's dead now.
Well, that's what about it amounts to in Returnal, right? But it's still a fun little thing. I like going into the Returnal things and just reading the descriptions about the little animals and the redacted info and stuff. It's interesting. So that's great. And then of course there's the titular Dread, right? There's the design that was supposed to be a part of the game from fucking however many years, decades ago, where they were like, let's design a game built around these SAX encounters, like we want to have Samus being hunted, and like you have to deal with that as a persistent threat. So those feel really fun. You have to use your tools, and there's little things that like are not evident right away, but only when you start unlocking other types of doors and shit you realize like, oh, these doors take a couple seconds to open. So when you're panicking, that's not gonna, you're fucked, right?
Or for example, the what's it called? The step, this horizontal. Yep. Like there's a bunch of
pressure
doors
gate
that always close on me, and I'm like, oh, those are just to fuck with me. It's like, oh no, those are great to get away from the speed Emmy when I run into them later.
Right. So you can, and the cutscenes actually like show you examples of what you can do with it. But like, yeah, you can fuck yourself by stepping on it, or you can clear it and then use it to put a wall up, so that's great. You've got little things like the sounds you make that you have to pay attention to, the little tracking system that shows you like, oh, you're being loud right now. It's in the yellow. It's looking around, like that stuff's fun.
I gotta say, I love. It's funny because before the game came out, I saw a lot, before I played it, I saw a lot of people just hard complaining about the difficulty on the boss fights, and more than that, I saw people like furious with the Emmy sections, saying they would just bang their head against them until they found out the perfect path they had to go to bypass the sections. And then when I got to them, I'm like, it doesn't feel like that at all. Like,
yeah, no,
I felt very confident in most situations getting away from them or like looping them around or what have you. And yeah, I died like, I don't know, I think the third Emmy that I think I died like 15 times in a row or something, and it took me all of 12 minutes to get through that section because the checkpoint's right outside the door.
Yeah, no, I didn't find that wasn't bad at all. I didn't find my struggle is because my aim is really rough, like holding the stick at the right angle to get the Omega shots off.
Right.
While it's walking forward is where I struggle. But like, you give it another shot. No big deal. It's fun that like it's persistent and that you can fuck up in these ways, and it's coming at you really quick. Like you gotta do your best tight wall jumps. You gotta troll it a little bit sometimes. Especially if you're trying to you're like, should I get to the exit or should I explore that corner over there? And the answer is get to the fucking exit. But like,
yeah, you can explore the corner when
later. Yeah. Little mother brains hanging out, all that stuff. It's really fun to just like go through this brand new game, and like so far it's just a tight experience, Yeah,
it's great.
So I've made it to about I think it's area 6.
Yeah, you flew past where I was.
And I got to a part where like the whole environment changed, to a really cool different thing.
I have a weird issue with the way the planet is built and the way the map portrays it, because like you're going up and then like I would go to the side, and a side area has an open sky,
Yeah, yeah,
and I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what? How the fuck am I gonna go up above
It's
this?
Big Mountain. Big Mountain has a side that's low mountain. You know? I'm sure the surface makes sense. There's a huge cliffside. Don't worry about it. Um, and
I can
that
only imagine that, like, when you go to the side on that thing, it's actually like 100 kilometers. Like,
maybe.
it's
But what's
like
what's
really far.
and what's really cool is like in that you know when you look at that like oh I can see the sky kind of thing, just peeking through the background. It's very very subtle, but like the way it looks, the colors, and some of what you're hearing are like this is like those surface daytime areas in Prime. You know, you're hitting that kind of environment, so you're getting some of those similar feelings as well. But yeah, I got to a part where like yeah, the whole environment like texture, for lack of a better word, just all changed.
Oh, cool.
And yeah, some rad shit started happening, and then I was like, I'm tired, I gotta go because you know I need some sleep. So I wrapped it up right as shit was popping off again. So you know the rate of like just doing Metroid justice and bringing in fun shit and just all of it, man. It's an incredible game so far. Easily, I can recommend it if you've been thinking about it. You know, we'll just have to see how it sticks to landing.
I am absolutely amazed that the same people who made Lords of Shadow 2 and Mirror of Fate made this game.
Does it make what I was saying about Samus Returns make more sense now?
Yeah, but it doesn't make me less incredulous. It
Right.
doesn't hit me with less incredulity. It's still like, why are they so bad at this very similar genre and so much better at this one?
Well, I put a theory out, right? And because it's like for whatever it was, like you know, Samus Returns was the blueprint that brought us this game. And I think it's the Nintendo breath on the back of their necks heavily breathing and making sure that whatever the fuck they do is going through approvals, and possibly they're getting yelled at about helmets. You know,
Maybe.
I think it's Nintendo breathing on the back of their neck, probably to make sure that they don't fuck up. That's my guess. You know?
It's just wild because like everything they made with Castlevania was like complete garbage, and now they've been gone over to Metroid and it's great. And all I can think of is I would give a finger to reverse that situation right now.
I feel as well. Yeah, and well, I mean, I know as you said you've always bounced off Metroid, but this is the first one that like you're enjoying, right?
Yeah, my main issue with because I'd only try of the 2D Metroids, I'd only tried Super Metroid, and my main issue with Super Metroid is that I hate the way that it controls. I don't feel good running around and jumping and shooting, which playing this game is not a problem that I have, because running around and jumping and shooting in this game fucking rules. It's great.
Okay. Well, because I hear you on the reversal of that situation, and I couldn't fucking disagree more. Because like 2D Metroid being good, but the only reason why it wasn't really, you know, popping off is because it was always just handheld. You know, it was like Fusion was an amazing game that was GBA. Hope you got a GBA. Zero Mission, same thing. You know, 3DS, same thing. So like now it's like, okay, we've put it all together, and the Switch is a hybrid. You know, it's handheld and it's a console. So, you know, more people are gonna take a look at this by default. It needed a full return to form.
But
and this
I
is
guess
absolutely
the way that
it.
I feel when I talk about the switch over is like Metroid does have good 3D games, whereas all 3D Castlevania games are complete trash. They're complete garbage. Like, holy shit. So if you switched them, we'd have good Metroid games and good Castlevania games.
Yeah, but you know, you have to imagine thinking about how important and how draconian Nintendo is about like IP requirements and things. Like, I would love to see how much Nintendo like handed them, designs, or how much they just approved what was brought, or how much they went back and forth on it. But I definitely would believe they were heavily involved. When you boot the game up, I didn't see a Mercury Steam logo. You get to the title screen and it just says Nintendo 2021.
Actually, come to think of it, I remember the game booting like insanely fast.
It takes you
like
right to
general.
it. Yeah. You boot the game up and it just goes dread, and then it just says Nintendo at the bottom. So anyway, it's a fucking incredible experience so far for anyone who has not experienced what's great about Metroid games. This is fantastic for that. And, I would even say that, like, that intro catches you up to speed in a way that is like, you could start playing this game and enjoy it.
We killed all the Metroids. We killed all the parasites.
Now for some other shit.
Samus gets signal. Go get it.
We're going to pretend, as the Galactic Federation, we're going to pretend that we're not going to rely on Samus this time to solve the problem. God fucking damn it. Get Samus.
I feel like Metroid games, storyline-wise, like, let's all stop kidding ourselves, because the setup to every single Metroid game is exactly the same. You're flying around, and then you either get, like, a message or, like, a signal, and it says, hey, there could be something bad over here. Can you look at it? And you go, okay.
Yeah.
And it's there, and the bad thing is there.
But what you're not seeing, and what the story always, like, kind of dodges, is that, like, that's not a bounty hunter. That's the strongest thing in the universe.
Yeah.
The strongest being in the universe is casually flying around, taking these missions for pay. But, it's like, get the fuck out of here. You're doing this as a gig, Same for like Solid Snake doing a mission just because he was assigned to by the government, and not because he has the fucking abilities to go in and save the world every time anyways, and he's blood related to everyone involved. Like, you're talking to the strongest thing in that goddamn universe easily. Little bit of a Goku kind of feeling, where you're just like, yeah, but they'll get involved for their own reasons.
Hey, Goku, there's some weird bugs on this planet. Can you check out the weird bugs?
Will it be a fun fight?
Yeah, probably.
All right, let's go. Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Lady Goku.
But yeah, that's it. And what's gonna happen this week is since that game and maybe some other stuff, I'll take a look at I'll take a look at the schedule and see like when I can play stuff by myself, because if there's days where I'm free and Reggie's not coming in, I'll just pop on and play some shit. Whatever, fuck you. I don't care.
I got a question for you.
I'll play anything.
I was looking at your Dread videos, your Dread session, while we were talking for some of that. I just wanted to see like some footage. While we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Like, are you really streaming Disco Elysium twice this week?
No, that's incorrect.
That's your schedule.
Oh, on Twitch. Oh, that needs to be fixed. Okay, the Twitch schedule is wrong there. No. No, the Twitter schedule
that seems wrong.
The Twitter schedule is up to date. The Twitch schedule is wrong.
Okay.
I'll go fix that.
All right. I was just checking. Hey, if somebody wanted to see that up-to-date new Twitch schedule, where would they go?
Yeah, so twitch.tv/WoolieVersus. What's going to happen is, pretty conveniently, Reggie's going to be busy on Tuesday, so I'll just pick up where I left off and play more Metroid. So Tuesday, I'm going to do more Metroid Dread. Might just take it to the end. I think I can do it. I think the thing too, because some people were asking me, and I pulled it out. It came out of nowhere, but like I think the right way, or at least the way that I enjoy playing Metroid the first time through, is not for speed and not for completion, just for the sake of playing. If I see something that looks cool, I'll go out of my way if I want to. If I don't want to, then I won't. But I'm just going through it and collecting whatever I feel like it. And
well, this game makes it. I don't know if there are earlier games that had this, but this game makes it like dramatically easier to grab all the hidden goodies by giving you like a little whoop, whoop, whoop,
flashing
whoop
area. Yeah, that is a. I don't know if any purists have complained about that.
I have not seen one complaint.
But that is a fucking lifesaver for completion. Just like, yeah, this grid of the area of the map is where the secret is. Go find it. Shoot walls. Grab your missiles.
Shoot floors.
Do everything. Do what you would do. But I like that, like...
I did get stuck at one point because I did not shoot one wall because I saw a way to get through the area that would have taken damage. I'm like, well, I don't have the way to not take damage yet. And I did like 3 loops of the entire game before somebody was like, just jump through the fucking lava. Just jump through the lava. Just jump through it.
Okay. I fortunately didn't get stuck anywhere for long. In many cases, I would just like, run into an area, not notice the destructible floor, and then run back around the zone like once or twice, and then come back to that and be like, oh, okay, let's try shooting this floor. But that's kind of what you're supposed to do in a way, like there's moments in the game where you're like, oh, well, what now? And it's like, yeah, there's either a new area that you can go to because you just got this power, or there's a floor or a wall that you didn't blow up, and you got to get used to the lie walls and the lie floors.
Yeah, everything is a lie in the Metroid game. It's a little.
So if you're playing through it and you have those little stuck moments, don't be discouraged, because it's there's these little moments where you're meant to be like, what the fuck now?